You're live.
All right, great. Good evening, everyone. This is the November 12, 2025 open meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission, which is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by using your telephone and dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then entering access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners, and they're available on our town's website, as is our posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the Conservation Commission. And before we begin, let me confirm who's attending and participating. Megan Langley.
Here.
And she's appearing remotely. Michelle Koras.
Here.
Mark Sclamo.
Here.
Ricky Arizmi.
Here.
Tom Fallon.
Here.
Okay. So anyone that's going to be speaking tonight, there's a sign-in sheet that Mr. Fallon has. You need to sign it. And then if there's any member of the public that's going to be participating, we need to know your name and your address. And also note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television and available for viewing at a later date. So, without further ado, the first matter on our agenda is, is it Jose or?
Through the chair,
Yes.
I'd just like to do 320 South Street with Mr. Lundgren as he's in the audience. if that would
All
be
right,
okay
why don't we
with the
do
chair.
that first? So, hold on. Please have a seat.
Good evening.
Good evening.
About the same thing. Yeah, I got one. Great. Excellent.
Want to start?
Yeah.
Just want to come forward, and I'm looking for a minor site change on the 320 South Street plan. It's a single-family house I'm building. It's when we laid out the house, we realized how close it was to the berm. And there's old-growth trees right along the railroad tracks, so I'm looking to move it 40 feet to the left. It's an 8-acre lot. It's a former sand and gravel pit. It won't impact the wetland at all, but I'll be close to the buffer line when I do that 40 feet. But it'll allow me to keep the old-growth trees along the tracks, little separations on the railroad tracks. When it was engineered and designed, it doesn't look like, it looks, I own the property, we're to the right by the tracks, but I don't want to take down the trees. That's the only
These are the
buffer.
trees right here.
It's the only buffer that's from the train tracks and the actual exposure to the train.
So how far are you moving the house again?
I'd like to move it about 40 feet to the left. I still have, it's 8-acre lot. And like I said, it's not going to cause any influence on the wetlands. It's all sand and gravel. I'm following the stormwater management plan that's been designed. I'm on my soil test, come back. I think we've actually submitted to the town for the Board of Health for the septic design. It's all sand. There's no impact really to it all. I just like to move it away so I can leave the trees that you see in those pictures and not take the trees down and expose the railroad tracks to the backyard.
All right. So basically, you want to substitute this plan for the previous plan you submitted?
Just 40 feet to the left is all I'm asking to do. It's the exact same plan, nothing else is changing. I just like to move the house actually to the left a little bit.
All right, so we're going to need an as-built plan, which will be different from this plan.
Right.
You understand that, right? Okay. Yeah, I have no questions.
Me either.
I don't see any appreciable difference, no impact on any wetlands, so I think that's fine. So,
Okay.
okay. Any questions? Any questions?
I have a question. Is this something that we need to vote on? And if so, when were we planning on voting on that?
So, if you can remind me, when were you before us the last time?
It was in the spring. It was when I came to get an extension on the plan itself because I had a 2-year extension to file because of the COVID, so I did that. And I got that for you with this plan in maybe April, I forget when it was.
We issued an order of conditions for this, correct?
There was,
An extension this year, but
The
the
extension.
original was from a couple of years back.
All right, so
But
just
it's,
going back, we issued an order of conditions back in, what, 22?
Yeah, it was a few years.
Looks like the site visit occurred back in October of 2022.
Mhm.
Okay. And at that time, had you proposed a house construction? I'm just sorry. we
I didn't
don't
own
have
it at
that
that time, I bought it after
Okay.
that. So when I bought it, I filed for the extension to continue on with the project. And I had some change, moved the location of the house a little bit, and
plan. Okay.
it was originally gonna be 2 house lots, I made it 1.
Well, I mean, in that sense then, the plan that was submitted in 2022 it's a different plan now
No, we submitted a new one after that, that when we did the filing, I submitted a change with
for the
that.
extension, with the extension.
yeah. If you
It's
recall, the
that plan
original,
right there, that's the actual plan, I just redlined it to show you how I wanted
Yeah.
to move it 40 feet.
the original,
That's the original plan that we submitted was
All right.
approved.
with the original filing, he was proposing 2 different ways to come in. One was right by the railroad tracks, the one that's on there. The other one was coming in on South Street.
Further south out. so-
Right, and that one there would have had a lot more, would have had a crossing involved and all, so this plan here was the one that we actually, when I was.
Because I reduced the impact by making it 1 house lot instead of 2.
Right,
Understood.
So that way I wouldn't have to disturb the wetlands.
I
and could
think,
stay-
I think to Megan's point, I think we do need to take a vote. So is there a motion?
Well, here's my concern,
Okay.
is this was not posted on the agenda as something that we would be voting on or deliberating over tonight.
And she's right. She actually is right about that. So because, I mean, I think it's a minimal change, but I think a vote is necessary. And so I think for that reason, we probably need to schedule this for hearing at our December 10th meeting or on the 17th, whenever we meet next month. Because she's right, it wasn't posted, it needs to be posted. Okay, does that make sense to you,
Whatever you
sir?
get, I'm just,
I
make
just
whatever
don't,
you-
yeah, procedurally, I didn't realize, like, what, because it's not an RDA, it's just a minor change on a plan.
Well, but still,
But, okay, I didn't realize that, or I would have.
no worries.
So we're gonna, so we vote on that new plan.
But we can't do it tonight.
Right.
Because it wasn't
Okay.
posted, so.
Alright.
And is that agreeable to you, sir, that this matter
whatever
be
you need,
continued?
whatever you have to do to get it
All
done.
right.
All right, so in that case,
Do I have to be here for that? I'm traveling for work, I don't know if I'll be here.
no, you don't have to be here for that.
All right, if you have any questions during the rise in between, let me know, I'm always available.
Yeah.
So, can I have a motion to continue this particular matter to our meeting on either December 10th or December 17th?
I think we all said that we could do it on December 10th, right?
10th,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So
Sometime.
I move to continue, I don't know the
What's
address.
the address?
Yeah,
320 South.
320 South Street.
320 South Street to 7 o'clock on December 10th.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Megan. All right, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
I give
thank
you,
you.
I will be. Thank you.
All right, yeah, it's on there.
What day is that?
Get that done.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh,
It's the regular ones, or it's
Yep.
the,
We only meet once during the
November.
months of November and December.
and I had scheduled my book club on the
Oh.
17th, which is the third week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6
anyway, read
months.
some books.
Sorry.
Okay, the next matter on our agenda is the 7 PM posted hearing. I don't want to get your name wrong, so can you help me here?
That's fine. Josue.
Josue Valdez of Fuss and O'Neill, notice of intent to construct the new Auburn Fire Rescue Headquarters Complex at 10 Prospect Street. Is there a motion open?
Motion open.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. Why don't you come on up, sir?
So I think we have a presentation.
Will Megan be able to see that?
Megan, can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Please proceed.
Hi. Hello, everybody. My name is Josue Valdez with Fuss O'Neill, and I'm the civil engineer consultant on the Auburn Fire Rescue Headquarters at 10 Prospect Street. We're here tonight to present to the Conservation Commission the current plans, and we're going to be discussing the design that was submitted to you, the plans, stormwater report, and notice of intent. to start, if we can go to the next slide.
I have a big set of plans right here, I can open up this one.
So pretty much, we are here basically because the project requires an NOI you to work within the buffer zone of the wetland and the bordering land subject to flooding. As you may know, the FEMA map shows the site within the flood zone. However, it does not have a determined elevation. So we prepare a flood study for that, which is part of the attachments with the stormwater report, and we determine what was that elevation. And that's the elevation that you will see shown on the plans that we will be talking about. So right now, this is like a location map to pretty sure,
Here we go.
yeah, sure that most people is familiarized with the site, but however, we just want to give a quick overview of where the site is located. So you can see the site right in the center of the screen. It's bordered pretty much to the south by Washington Street, which is, and then you have to the north, you have Southbridge Street. To the west, to the east, you have Prospect Street, and then to the west is where we have that wetland system and intermittent stream in that area, to which the flood zone is associated with. The area is pretty commercial, industrial. It's pretty much dealerships to the south and west, and then to the east we have the commercial plaza, and then to the north we have the Dunkin' Donuts site. If we may go to the next screen, onto the next sheet or slide. So here we just have like a few renders of how the site will, like the proposed building will look. This one, it's pretty much facing towards Prospect Street. You can see there like the apparatus bays where the trucks will come in and out. And then to the left of the screen, it's pretty much the front parking lot that is going to be kind of adjacent to Washington Street. If we go to the next slide, this is kind of like the front view pointing towards Washington Street. You can see the main entrance kind of like coming out a little bit from the building. And then on the right side, you can see the view that we previously saw. That is pretty much the apparatus bay and the concrete apron where the trucks and ambulances will be coming in and out from the building. If we go to the next slide, this is pretty much our site plan rendered. Overall, I want to start by pointing out, just to give some preference, you see the building is the big mass, the white mass in the middle. Then pretty much, like I said, on the left, you can see the wetland system with the flags, and then you can also see the buffers for the 25, 50, and 100 foot in there. And then the flood line is the thicker, kind of like gray dash line that you see in there. I know it might be a little bit harder to see, but like it's like, do you guys see it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the determined flood line, that is the 633.8 that we determined. Like I said, the FEMA map does not have a elevation for the site. As you can see, pretty much most of the new development is outside of the flood line, as well as the buffer. Most of the areas that are within the buffer were already previously disturbed. In general, our goal has been to pull farther away from the wetland system when comparing to existing conditions. So that driveway on the left is existing there. It's in really bad shape, but it is there. So we kind of like offset, like a couple of feet from the wetland to get more separation. So right now, when we compare this plan to the as-built that we have right now, we actually have less impervious area within the buffer and flood zone.
Is the existing driveway getting reduced? Is that what you're saying?
it's not getting reduced, it's getting pulled away from the wetland. So the width of the driveway, it's probably actually.
Sliding over.
Yeah, so we're getting farther away from the wetland. In general, the site, right now, we are proposing 3 curb cuts. Four, actually, 3 of them are already existing, which are the 2 in Washington Street and then the one south on Prospect Street, adjacent to Washington Street. Those are existing curb cuts. We're just gonna make them like, more, we're making slight changes to make it like better, align with the site and stuff, but we are not really moving it at all. If anything, they are becoming smaller than what they are right now. And then the one on the top, which is right next to the memorial, that's kind of the new one, but it's gonna be pretty much just to provide some additional parking and do some work around the existing memorial there, just to make like a nice area that people can actually park right there and like visit the memorial if they wish to do so. So now to talk about the site in overall, we have the curb cuts. Then in the front, you can see what will be the public parking space. Those spaces are also expected to be used when they have training and stuff. Like that's when we see this parking being like a max capacity. Then on the back of the side is pretty much just parking for the staff and official vehicles. That different kind of like yellowish color that you see right next to the building, that only means that that area we are proposing to be like a concrete apron. The gray hatch colored, it's more like regular heavy duty pavement for the most part, just because, trucks, those fire trucks are pretty heavy, so most of the areas where the trucks are gonna be driving around is gonna be heavy duty pavement. The front one will be regular standard duty because we're not really expecting trucks to be really driving that front parking lot that much. Overall, we have one more curb cut, that is the one connecting to Southbridge Street. Again, that's an existing one. We are not really proposing to make any changes to the actual curb cut at all, other than some new curving and stuff, but it will be pretty much the same dimensions. Like we said, so on the right side, you can see what we are expecting to be kind of like the main entry and exit for the fire trucks and ambulances. They will also have access on the back, so like those overhead doors are on the right side of the screen right now and also on the left. So that's kind of like a loop that they can do as they come in and out. The rear portion, even though it won't be, there's no proposed fence or gates. There are gonna be signs stating that only emergency vehicles are allowed, or authorized vehicles are allowed on the back of the site. So we're not really expecting the public to access the site, the rear portion of the site, or use the driveway that you see on the left that connects Washington Street with Southbridge Street. That's only intended for official use, pretty much. We are proposing a few BMPs here, which are just subsurface systems and one infiltration basin to promote groundwater, recharge, stormwater treatment, and water quality. You can see kind of like the blue dashed lines. One of them is to the left of the building on the rear parking lot. And then that line that Thomas is following is kind of like the pipe that will be discharging towards the wetland. We're gonna be discharging not at the wetland, but before. We're gonna be proposing stone aprons there to dissipate the energy from the water and reduce the velocity that the water reaches the wetland to prevent any kind of erosion there. And then similar situations gonna happen on the front parking lot where we have a few more subsurface systems that are gonna be piped underground into the wetland system. Again, not into the wetland, but like near, far enough that we can construct the stone apron without disturbing the wetland. So I want to clarify that as part of this project, we are not proposing any disturbance to the wetland system. And then there's gonna be a small pond above ground. That's that blue area in the rear parking lot that is also gonna help promoting infiltration and water, stormwater treatment on site. that's kind of like the big picture from a site stormwater standpoint. Then from a utility standpoint, it's not shown here, but like all utilities will be connected pretty much on Prospect Street on the right side. So it will be like a straight shots from the building to Prospect Street. We are not expecting to connect any utilities on Washington Street. So that's kind of like our presentation, overview of the site. We're gonna keep it simple, at least to get the conversation going. Now, if you have any questions, we are here to answer.
Have we heard from DEP?
Have not got anything back from DEP yet, no.
Okay. And the stormwater management study, which is pretty significant, that's being reviewed by the town engineer?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we have submitted, so we submitted to planning board already, and we are scheduled to be in the next week meeting, public hearing.
Okay.
And then we also submitted to DPW online for the land disturbance permit. So all of those are going simultaneously now.
When you say land disturbance, how much material are we talking about?
We are, it's a major land disturbance. It's about 15,000 cubic yards.
Okay, so that's material that's gonna be brought in,
No, brought out,
brought out,
but not from the flood zone.
right?
Within the flood zone, we are actually proposing to increase the storage by 63 cubic yards,
All right, so
cubic feet.
you're actually lowering the topography of that site
Yes.
by how much?
So right now, the area where the rear parking lot is, that's the area that we're gonna be kind of like that, and where the memorial is where we're gonna be lowering the most. Right now, starting at the memorial, I believe that under existing conditions, I have the plans open right now, right here, it's about elevation 50, one second. Yeah, so the area, okay, here. So the area where the memorial is right now, that's kind of the highest point around the site. That's about elevation 643 at the highest point. We are proposing to lower that area to about elevation 637. So call that, yeah, 6-7 feet. Main reason for that, if you've been around the site, you can see there's like a berm right off the sidewalk to go up. We can't keep that because we want to provide access and have that flat for cars to be able to go in there and park.
Sure.
That's the only reason we're proposing that parking there. Fire has no real use for that area. It's more for the public to access the memorial. Then on the rear portion of the site, the rear parking lot in the middle there, existing grades there are about 641, 642, and then it dips dramatically as you go left. So that area there now, it's gonna be between 638 and 635. So call it another 6 to 8 feet, give or take. The main reason for all of this and the need to drop the site down is that the configuration of the building, like we said before, you have access on the right side for the trucks and on the left side. So you need to maintain that topography all around the building. And then to be able to have all that parking on the rear portion of the site, you need to like propose a slope there that it's not something that when you park, you feel you're gonna fall, right? You wanna keep it as flat as possible.
Sure.
And then similar situation is happening on the front. So like where we are connecting the existing curb cuts, we are not proposing to change any grades on Washington Street at all, so we are gonna be meeting grades there. But those elevations there are about elevation 642. And then we're just gonna work our way to the building that we are proposing to be a finished floor of 638.5. So that's kind of like, in order for us to pick up this side more, we'll have to slide the building more towards the left. Or we will have to have a steeper slope along the concrete apron, which we're trying to keep below 4% so the fire trucks can go in and out easily. So that's kind of the reason why we're kind of dropping this out.
Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Michelle?
So there's not going to, so from Washington Street or for any of the streets going down into that parking lot, there's not a deep decrease into the parking lot, right?
So like if you're on Washington Street, the parking lot is actually gonna be, the front parking lot is gonna be at a lower elevation than Washington Street.
Okay.
What we are doing is, if you're coming from Washington Street, I believe we are keeping every slope, especially in the driveways, to be below 5%, even though technically we don't have sidewalks, we like to keep it like, kind of like within accessible number, so like anything below 5%, it's technically accessible if you have a sidewalk. So if a sidewalk was to be built down the road, it will still be accessible without needing a ramp. And then once you get into the parking lot, our goal is to keep everything, I believe, below 3.5%. I think it's the goal within the parking lot area.
So during big rain events, is there any concern about that sheeting off any of those hills like Prospect or whatever, and then funneling through the driveways into those parking lots?
It should not. So what we are doing with the grading is that we are building kind of like a really small berm on the front area. It won't be that noticeable, but that in conjunction with the curbs that you already have there, we are not really expecting the water to like bypass the curb and then the berm. By the time you do that, you're talking like a foot at least of water on Prospect Street
Okay,
or Washington Street
okay,
to even get water into the parking lot.
all right.
Megan, any comments?
No, let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking at a few things right now. I was gonna say, well, I'm looking at the planting list on the landscape plan, which is in that big map packet. And I'll just flip one thing. Oh, actually, you know what? My bad. I thought I saw something that didn't match up with what was listed in the.
It's sheet LP 1.01.
Yeah, I think I'm actually good now. So never mind about that. The restoration. What was the approximate? I know that it sounds like there's some restoration that's being proposed. You may have already said this, but what's like the approximate area of that, and where is that exactly?
So I don't have the exact area because we are calling it restoration, but it's basically because what we are doing, like I said before, we are pulling the driveway farther away. So our
Right,
areas
okay.
are right now impervious. Next to the wetland won't be impervious. We're gonna be proposing a same mix there. That is what we will be proposing if we were like restoring like a natural buffer. I don't
Okay.
have that number, but I can definitely get it to you. I just don't have it on the top of my head because it's just like by pulling away, we are calling that
Okay.
restoration on that sense, not because we are disturbing it per se.
Yeah. All right. I think I understand what you're saying. This is kind of a minor point, but in the narrative section 2.3.2, that's like on page 2 of the narrative at the bottom. It says invasive species, including purple loose strife and broadleaf cattail, which is Typha latifolia, were observed throughout the wetland. To my knowledge, if this is saying that Typha latifolia is an invasive species, I don't think that that's true. It's to my knowledge, it's completely native to North America and here. So, I mean, that may not affect anything with the plan, but I just wanted that to be noted that is native vegetation.
What was that section again?
It's in the narrative, so that would be on page 2 of the narrative, or section 2.3.2, bordering vegetated wetlands.
2.3.2. Okay, and which one was the exact planting that you were referring to?
The Typha latifolia. It sounds like from that sentence that it's being described as invasive vegetation. Like with purple loosestrife is invasive, but the cattail is a native species. That's that species of cattail. So just the language there makes it sound like it's being described as invasive vegetation. So I don't think that affects anything directly, but I just wanted to note that that's native vegetation.
No, I appreciate that. I will definitely confirm with my landscape architect and wetland scientist.
Okay.
And I'll make sure to get back to you on that one and update it
Okay.
if needed.
Thank you.
Thank you for the observation.
And then there was one. You may have, if you said this, I'm sorry. on the in section, so in the narrative section 3.4, the erosion and sedimentation control. It does mention materials may be temporarily stockpiled within designated staging areas. Where are those staging areas? Do you?
Yeah, so on the permitting plans, if you go to sheet CE 101, that's the sixth sheet within the set.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
There you will see how we have a few areas,
Okay.
staging layout and soil stockpile area, and that you see around those are erosion controls. So we're going to be proposing erosion controls around those, because just
Okay.
yeah.
I
And
see.
I do want to point out this, construction is like a dynamic thing. So
Right.
we are proposing that, but like this is a lot of means and methods, but we do like to work with the contractor to make sure that they have an understanding of what our thought is on.
Right, and of course, you haven't been before the planning board yet either, so they may have some suggested changes.
Exactly.
So, right. Any other?
Okay, that's all that I had.
Thank you, Megan. Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public? All right, so in that case, our next meeting is going to be on December 10th. I assume you assent to us continuing the public hearing until December 10th? Okay, so can I have a motion, please?
Move to continue the application for the new firehouse until December 10th at
7:05.
7:05.
I second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Bye.
Opposed to vote. All right, very good. Thank you for coming in, thank you for your presentation, and hopefully by December 10th, we'll have a DEP file number and we can expedite this.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Happy
Thank you,
Thanksgiving.
Chief.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
That was a presentation that I gave Monday night at the select board.
Oh, okay. I was looking at it.
It's actually informational, it's got some pretty good stuff. I'll talk about it a little bit at the end of the meeting.
Okay, the next matter on our agenda is 705 public hearing. Walsh Engineering notice of intent to improve drainage with subsurface gravel wetland at 15 Harts Gravel Road. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed to vote. All right. Good evening, Mr. Walsh. Good evening. And sir, before you start, I wanted to commend you on the peer review that your company did for 47 Rockland Road. I thought it was very comprehensive, and it certainly, I'm very glad that we decided to have the peer review done. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sure there'll be some questions back and forth, so.
There have been.
All righty.
That's right. So anyway, tell us about Harts Gravel Road. I guess I'll start.
All right, well,
So,
So in general, it's a stormwater improvement. They've worked on the facilities, 15 Hartsdale, one that you mentioned, the Arborville Transfer Station recycling facility. This project itself is focused on really kind of the final, in my opinion, final major piece of improvements to their stormwater system. They have an existing, on-site, they have an existing detention pond that's really limited in its capacity, really to treat stormwater as a final measure. And even its detention, ability to detain stormwater is somewhat compromised. It was designed and built, constructed, I think, in 1995, designed just prior to that. If you could, yeah, go back to the, so this just lists some of the history in this and why, what has been done and why it's been done. Some of the improvements are obviously best management practices on site. We've worked with them for a number of years with the facility to make sure that those are maximized. Some of the, active BMPs are stressed. Storm drain system, we've installed proprietary systems, media filters that treats runoff from the rooftops that are galvanized to remove zinc. There's gravity separators, and they're really a combo. You'll see them in a minute. They're settlement units for sediment, and they also retain oil. And there's also a 12,000 gallon oil water separator on site. And that, generally the runoff in the impervious area all runs through those systems. Those are just some images and timelines of different items that were installed. Up to the left is the 12,000 gallon oil water separator. To the right, if you can make it out, is a media filter, so that's all proprietary media. Layers of it specifically to remove zinc and other metals, but primarily zinc. There's 2 of those on site to capture the entire rooftop system. To the left is a view of the pond that was cleaned at that time, and then there's again another media filter and some drainage items there. We can move on to the next slide if you're able to tell. This at least shows the site itself. This happens to be just a sweeping program that we've highlighted, but it also shows the drainage system. It's mechanical sweeping that they do daily, and then we just noted where it's rotary broomed or manually swept and so forth. So that's just one of the programs that was put in place. This is just a list of some of the storm drain system maintenance that is done routinely there. Catch basin cleaning, the storm drain system is cleaned out on a quarterly basis by vendors. The trench drains are cleaned when there's 1 inch of sediment or greater present, and they're done quarterly anyways, at a minimum. The oil water separator is cleaned annually, the 12,000 gallon system, and obviously they have training and for their personnel, stormwater compliance and plans and systems and so forth. So hit the next one. That just gives you an idea of some of the systems out there. One of the things that I mentioned, there's 2 of these on site. Is to the right are Clara units, the trade name. They're just segregated 4-chambered systems. They have a high flow bypass that goes through the system. Doesn't resuspend sediment. They're pretty effective in sediment. And also they act as an oil water separator, though if there happens to be a spill, they have pretty significant storage capacity to prevent it discharging from the site. And this to the left is a photo of the existing detention pond that was constructed in 1995. And to the right, this just happens to be one we designed and installed in Allenstown, New Hampshire. It's also a transfer station, very similar operations, a little smaller facility, but we have had tremendous results with a gravel wetland in that setting, and we'd like to implement it in this site too, so that's why we're here. The one thing that they do far better than a traditional detention pond is they give consistent And that's really the thing, consistent treatment performance. One of the things that Auburn has struggled with is peaks and valleys in the results, in the concentrations. So, like I said, the predictability and the effectiveness of the gravel wetlands have been really good for them in Allenstown. So we expect the same results. One of the challenges here is it's not a proprietary system. I'm glad we have more experience with them, and we're under construction with one that is basically substantially complete in Oxford at a transfer station. But one of the issues with the proprietary systems is that they're more difficult to maintain, and they can get fouled easily. So the gravel wetland has those characteristics. One, I think it generally fits in better with the landscape and facilities generally. It's a nice buffer in a lot of cases. Again, they're efficient, and the maintenance is pretty limited on them. So for those items, they're advantageous. This is just a general schematic of a gravel wetland. So this doesn't show it, but all of them, including this one, has what they call a forebay for settling. So a detention area at the head of the unit, really, at the start of the gravel wetland. That drains directly into what is two different cells. And we can hit on the drawings in a minute. But it's always two cells. University of New Hampshire is really the one who pioneered this for stormwater. Originally, these were used for sewage treatment, industrial wastewater, and so forth, and other technology, kind of smothered it over the years. But UNH smartly brought it back, and this is really, a lot of it comes out of UNH's Stormwater Center. So the trick is, and they're efficient too, but the trick is replicating a gravel wetland, a natural gravel wetland in some ways, or a natural wetland in some ways. You've got, on the surface, you've got your forebay and drains into one of the two cells, and the object is to drive it down below grade, below your wetland soil, so that brown layer at the top, under what is kind of shown as grassed areas of the wetland plants, is 3/4 inch gravel. So highly porous, lots of capacity for stormwater, and the system just drives it down. You'll see those standpipes. Those are perforated vertical pipes that also help to drive water down into that area. That area is anaerobic, and microbes develop over time, and they provide a really effective treatment in combination with the plant life of the root systems of those wetland plantings that are put down or installed in these two cells. It's plug flow, so they want it to run, it's designed to run in plug flow through one cell, then to the next. That's why you see the underground piping moving it horizontally. And then eventually it comes out to an outlet control structure, which is interesting. It maintains that level with a weir wall and two orifices to make sure that water level stays 6 inches below the surface of the wetland soil, to make sure that your plants stay alive and they function properly. And then that outlet control structure also discharges higher flows through it as well. The efficiency of it from a practical standpoint, or for stormwater detention, is that you store water on top of your filtration system. So we're able to reduce peak flows here fairly substantially in the 2 and 10-year storm event, and keep the peak flow at the 100-year storm event just below what existing conditions is. So that's
About times in drought, is it any impact in?
really isn't, and we've lined ours. They're industrial facilities, so we've gone ahead and put a HDP liner in the base of these, including this one. So it's very well protected beneath the one with the orifice and the control. The water can only go so low, so you really don't have evaporation, at least below the wetland soils to any degree. So within that area, it stays wet.
It looks like the footprint for the system is going to be larger than what's there now.
It is.
Okay. By what, about 50%?
I don't know the percentage, but that's close.
Okay.
Really close, yes.
All right. And in terms of construction, how long does it take to install?
I think it's 2 to 4 months You know, it's gonna depend on the approach, the contractor selected the approach and so forth, but yeah, it outsizes the existing pond. And we just needed that for the treatment capacity and the detention volume, storage capacity above it.
So is the, while construction is going on, is the existing pond still functioning?
That's the problem. We have one place to put this, and we have to bypass stormwater to be
Right.
able, at least the initial phases of construction.
So how do you do that?
Well, it doesn't fully bypass the system, and if you go to the drawings, I can try to show you. There you go. Yeah, if you can go to the other file. That actually shows it. Right. So one thing obviously we're operating within that footprint in the midst of their operations, but what we're doing is basically cordoning off the area with Jersey barriers above. I don't know, you can see it like an eyebrow almost over the area between those two yellow arrows. And so the only two drainage points that don't go through the rest of the system, essentially critically the oil water separator, the 12,000 gallon oil water separator, are those two drainage ways. One on the very right, where that yellow kind of loop line is, or arrow is roof runoff from that north end of the building or roof. And then the other one is the other roof drain filter from the south part of the roof. Both of those are filtered through proprietary structures before they would even go into the oil water separator and then eventually be discharged from the site.
How long would it take to construct?
In total, the project, 2 to 4 months. You know, I
You
think
do this in the spring?
probably early spring, try to get started.
Okay.
If you want to open the other file, if you have drawings. Give you at least-
Yeah, I don't have the other drawings. Do have hard copies here.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So it looks like you also proposed an alternate site. I'm curious why you did that.
That off Hardscrabble Road is for potential laydown area. What we've talked with the fire department, only one left, about utilizing portions of Hardscrabble Road and that turnaround as laydown area for the contractor.
Okay.
Depending on what truly is available, they're agreeable to it. We still have to go through the site plan process as well, but we're going to utilize as much as we safely can for the contractor. There's not a lot of space to work, so the alternative to that, or maybe to supplement it, would be another laydown area just off the road, and that's the most feasible area based on grades in that undeveloped portion of the lot. If you look at the drawings, the north side of the lot is undeveloped. Good view of that lot.
Let's see, closer.
But yeah, the rectangular area is just that, is a potential laydown area. That would be, unfortunately, there'd be some tree clearing there. It's not terribly dense, but there are trees in that area. But it's the most level area. It reduces, if we go anywhere else, there's a pretty significant cut to get reasonable grades to get up. There's quite an elevation change in that part.
Right.
And there's an existing cut on this side. So, we think it's the least impact to give reasonable laydown area for the construction period. There is, you'll see the wetlands report that was done, I think it was August 12th. Goddard Consulting, we did redo the wetland delineation. It mirrors what we saw, I don't know, several years ago. There's a drainage way across from the pond, which is the primary source, along with Hardscrabble Road. Discharge from the MS4 system, that wetland area. There is a portion that borders of the construction that will encroach the 100-foot BVW buffer. I think that's about 4,600 square feet, I believe it is. That impact, we do not plan to impact any wetlands directly. We will go right up to it. The discharge from the pond, we'll have to excavate through Hardscrabble Road for that discharge, and a riprap swale to dissipate energy and discharge to the wetland, approximately in the same location that it does discharge currently in this force.
So does that need to be done within 25 feet of the wetland?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so I wonder if we need an alternatives analysis. Just because, you know, under our regs, 25 foot is a no-build zone. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think a drainage swale is de minimis, but I think, so I don't know if an alternatives analysis is needed or not, but I think we need to consider that.
Yeah, essentially, we come right up to the edge of that delineation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to be a really extensive alternatives analysis,
Okay.
but I think it's something that should be considered. And I'm assuming we don't have a DEP file number for this one either, right?
No.
Okay, so when are you going before the planning board?
Next week.
Okay, so again, we're meeting once in December, December 10th.
December 10th is going to be an all-nighter, isn't it?
Yeah,
I might bring
Not
my
an all-nighter.
jammies.
Not an all-nighter.
I think
Come
I
on.
might bring my jammies for that one.
Thanks for sharing. Well, hopefully not,
Okay.
but in any event, so we have your permission to continue this matter to public hearing on December 10th?
You do.
Okay. Gentlemen, are you here, any comments on this, or are you here for the other matter?
Other matter.
Okay, thank you. That being said, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 15 Hardscrabble Road to December 10th at 7:10?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Megan?
Aye.
Just making sure you're still awake.
Oh, yep, I'm here.
Okay, all right, it's a vote. All right, thank you, and we'll see you in December.
Thank you. Any thoughts on a site visit?
Sure, always. I don't know about this weekend, but we can get in touch with you.
Let me know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have a good day, Mike. Thanks.
Okay. I think you probably all know that the 7:10 public hearing for 47 and 49 Rockland Road has been continued based on the fact that the applicant needs to incorporate, or first of all, digest and then hopefully make changes consistent with the Wallace Engineering peer review that was done on November 6th. So, can I just have a motion to continue the public hearing for Rockland Road to December 10th at 7:15?
Still moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, it's a vote. All right, very good. And then finally, we have an enforcement order for 464 Lester Street. I presume you gentlemen are here for that?
Just have you guys sign this. This is the enforcement order. I just have to sign it, Tom. Let me sign it.
So, Tom, can you just kind of give us a background on this?
Okay, so back in October, I got a report, there was this. I don't know if that's yours, right? Yeah. Have your stuff back. I don't need it, I got enough of my stuff over there. There we go. So in mid-October, we got a report that there was some empty dumpsters over at 464 Leicester Street. Some members of this board are familiar, back when the solar farm went in, a while back, Mr. Shannon was here. He owns that property as well as several other parcels there, and his home is also there too at 460. So myself, Emma Williamson, and Michael Dwyer, the town inspector, went out there and did a site visit, and Mr. Shannon came over and we discussed the matter with him. The pictures that I sent out, there were 12 dumpsters, I believe, on the site, and a large area coming off the road was made impervious with millings going in. Or where the dumpsters were placed on top of those millings. All of the dumpsters were empty except for one. And so the enforcement order was issued, and they were asked to come here to the meeting tonight to just explain and see what the plan is.
What's the plan?
Well, it started out as, I had a lot of land and he was looking for some places to store some dumpsters, empty dumpsters.
Okay,
And then we ended up at this point.
okay,
This is Teddy Labonte, Tom Shannon, and he's hired an engineer to start the disturbance, land disturbance
Yeah, I
plan.
have these, I've had these made, which is just, it's not complete yet, but it's,
Oh, okay, yeah, let me pass these around. Very good. Let's keep on clean. Some around.
it's, I had the wetlands flagged, and then I had, the buffer zone showed, so there's obviously some area, you know, that was correctly, affected, by the, area, so, this isn't obviously finished yet. I mean, he's done a good amount of work over there. He's flagged everything. He's shown the buffer zone, the 100-foot zone and the 200-foot zone. And so, yeah, I've been working with him, and then also sort of looking tonight to get some feedback on exactly what, I know that we're gonna need a disturbance permit and things like that, but also kind of looking at moving forward. I'm not looking to, separately, I was told that there's, you know, potentially a way to move forward with this, but unrelated to that, I'm just looking to kind of close, you know, and, you know, appease you guys, and what I need to do. So I've been working with the engineer, and then also hoping to talk to you guys about, how to resolve this best.
well, I guess my first question is, I mean, is your plan just to store dumpsters at the site? Or are you gonna, I mean, are you gonna do any construction there, or is it just a situation where you're loading and offloading dumpsters, number one? And secondly, where are the materials contained in the dumpsters going? I mean, you're not proposing they be dumped at this property, right?
No, they would be to Casella, on 56, or to Wind Waste on 20.
You planned on keeping empty dumpsters.
Yeah, empty
Right.
dumpsters, no
But
solid
in
waste.
the way that they're shown in the images? I mean, basically just lying, or basically just
Side by
Right,
side.
right.
placed
side
on
by side.
on the property?
Right.
Okay. You gonna fence it off in any way, or provide any sort of security? Not that people are gonna go and steal dumpsters, but I'm just curious if the plan is just to simply store them there, if you're gonna do anything else to maybe, I don't know, install fencing or any.
Kids crawling in them or throwing
Right.
trash or gas or paint or.
Well, to be
Yeah, what
to
she
be
said.
clear, I mean, that was very early. The business is like very new. I mean, that was almost probably a week or so after we had even brought them there and started the whole thing. So,
Okay.
I had planned to put a gate, like, as entering the property, just to keep, somebody from stealing or whatever, somebody from driving in there. But fencing off, I hadn't really, but again, kind of
Pretty
early.
far off the road, they're not really visible from the road.
I mean, Mr. Labonte, I will tell you this, at a minimum, the dumpsters have to be removed, they have to be 100 feet away from the buffer zone. I think that's kind of, to my point of view, that is something that needs to be done
Right.
immediately. And then I think as you, and I'm speaking solely for myself, but I think the commission will probably agree. And I think as your plans develop, I think we'd like to see maybe a diagram showing where the dumpsters are going to be placed, specifically showing them outside of the 100-foot buffer zone.
Okay. So like marked on the, like a section dedicated to just where.
And make sure that I don't know how many drivers you have or how many employees you have or contractors you have, but make sure they understand that when these dumpsters are dropped off, they have to be dropped off maybe in a designated area. I'm even thinking perhaps you should have some signs indicating that this is a no store zone, if
Right.
you know what I mean.
Right. For where the buffer zone is.
Correct.
I think the outside, the 200-foot buffer zone
So
now.
I was gonna ask through the chair, so Teddy, I believe the dumpsters, they were over in this area here,
This
correct?
section,
Or a
right.
higher area, okay, so
Right.
they were like basically up past the 200 riparian area on the right, where like the 670 area is going straight across.
Uh-huh.
That's where they were all lined up, basically. Like I said, there was impervious, there's millings underneath the whole thing going down, and if you actually look at the topography, it seems like, everything outside of it, like Chapin Brook and everything that's way over, down past, is kind of like downgrade into the other side, so if in the event something were to come down there and wash down, nothing's gonna actually go into Chapin, it's sloping the other way.
Okay.
So where he had the dumpsters, when we originally went out there, was, like I said, very far back in that area, which is a good spot for it. It's the furthest away from the buffer zone, for sure.
All right.
I don't mean to be a bummer here,
Mhm.
but you don't know necessarily what's in those containers, right? When you're hauling trash away, there could be chemicals of any sort, right?
Yeah, it's mostly construction demo. So I own construction I own a construction
okay.
company, and they're all, so it's, I would say 99% C and D, which is construction and demo. It's
Yeah, I
no
got it.
household trash.
But not old stuff then? Not any horsehair plaster or anything like that?
There's definitely the potential for it to be
Okay,
there.
so
I'm
there
not-
could be lead,
They're gonna
and
be,
there could be, like all of that other stuff that could leach into the soil.
Yes.
So rainwater could get in it and leach into the soil,
Yeah, but they're not full though. They would be only empty containers.
but so it'd be any residue. I know I'm being particular here.
Well, no, you raise a valid
Yeah, no,
concern.
I understand completely. But
Because
if,
these, go ahead.
I mean, there's definitely the opportunity, yes, but if they're empty and you're talking about, solid welded with whatever that they're welded
And there's
with,
caps on top of them?
they're not on top, no, but, residue at the bottom that could potentially be, on, if you're saying, but to have that washed out and somehow, get out, is it, impossible?
So
No.
there's nothing at the bottom, there's no holes at the bottom of them?
Well, not these ones, they're brand new.
Okay,
Yeah, but
all right.
eventually over time they do rust.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
You know.
So
Right.
like, to her point, you're telling me that if we poured a maximum amount of water inside one of these things, it's a swimming pool and the water's gonna flow out at any point?
Yeah, right now, yeah. I can't speak in 10 years, no, but as of right now, yes.
Okay, all right.
Ew, yuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
All right.
I want to go swimming in it.
No,
Okay.
but
So if you do look at that picture there too, like I said, it's, with those millings, that entire area is impervious, so it's not like dirt area, it's impervious, it's millings.
All right,
I do have another question.
go ahead.
I'm assuming you're gonna keep growing, bigger dumpsters.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope, but as of right now, not, nothing too big. It's only one truck, one truck,
But
12.
And these are not for rental, these are just for you only?
Well, they are for rental, but to be honest, we use all of them ourselves. Yeah, it's kind of an internal
it
thing.
looks like there are two sizes, correct?
Exactly, so there's 15s and 20 yard.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you think, at any point, do you contemplate going with something bigger?
I'd like to, but that requires the CDL, which is like then that talking about growing that would be kind of like a big step
Okay.
up from there.
All right. All right, well, I think as you kind of develop your plan, get back to us. I think for the time being, we're gonna keep the enforcement order in place until, you kind of have defined what your plan's gonna be. Do you think that's something you might be able to get done, by the time of our December 10th meeting?
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
I think we have a pretty good jump start on it.
all right.
And then I could kind of just label some stuff about like the area that hoping to, store the stuff, and then also an area that, isn't allowed, and I'll just make sure that that's marked out, like no temporary storage, no anything there. And then, if it is, works, then we could talk about maybe signage or something like that, or, go from there.
Okay. Has the Board of Health weighed in on this at all?
They're still in discussions with, are you guys going to the DCG meeting? I think it's gonna be,
I asked
probably the
to,
December one
Back to my original.
I asked to be placed
on the agenda, okay, yeah.
Exactly.
So the DCG meeting, they'll have the fire department, police department, Board of Health, everybody. They meet twice a month, first and third Wednesdays from 10 to noon. So they're planning on coming to that meeting. They couldn't make it this month.
Okay, good,
Discussing with Gary, like as far as if they're gonna do anything with zoning and that kind of thing.
sure.
So,
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean,
there is a very big difference between empty storage containers and obviously having like full dumpsters
Sure.
on site, which you can't, right now, the town, they don't have that. Casella is the only, commercial enterprise that it's allowed right now, so.
exactly.
Which don't drain. If a kid does get in that, it only takes like a spoonful of water the wrong way to make them drown.
On that happy note,
Yeah.
so we'll see you then on December 10th. We're not going to schedule as a formal public hearing. It's something that we'll discuss informally at the end of our agenda for that night. Okay? So thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I do wish you luck. I started a business too when I was
Yeah.
young, and it's hard. It's a
Yeah,
learning curve,
I
man.
appreciate it.
The cost of demolition now and the cost of materials, it does, when you have a construction company, it makes sense to start your own.
Right.
Because the expense is unbelievable, the prices have gone up so high. Like a
I get
30-yard dumpster, I don't know what they're charging now, Al's, but it's not cheap.
Our first house was sweat equity, man, so I get it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a meeting on the 19th with DCG?
10th of
December
December.
10th.
I mean, this
Oh,
month.
the meeting, there'll be a meeting, let me see,
I
my
thought there was another
calendar.
one coming up.
No, because it's December, November and Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I think he's talking about DCG though.
Oh.
Yeah, he's talking with DCG, that
Oh,
would be,
sorry.
let's see here. Yeah, I think there's a meeting on the 19th next week. at 10
Let's see if I
o'clock.
can get on.
Yeah,
that.
if you want to get on that, yeah, call, you want
Yeah.
to talk to Paul Delaquila, he's the Assistant Town Manager, the Economic Development Director, and he handles that, but, or just give me a call or send me an email, and I can definitely get you guys on there
Okay.
for that. Otherwise, you'd be looking at, December would be the 3rd, it would be the Wednesday before the next Concom meeting, so,
so get it
Okay.
on for the 19th, please.
yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
All right.
Okay, thank you guys,
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much. Appreciate it.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. I reviewed the meeting minutes for October 22nd, and I just have two questions. What does 8:42 and 51:20 mean?
Let's see.
Eight 42 is the top of the back of page 1, and then 51:20 is on page 3.
do the.
That is timestamps. That is actual timestamps on video, because what I do is I have a transcription.
Okay.
When I watch the meeting, and I
Alright.
try to make sure, so if somebody wants to see an actual hearing, they can jump in on the timestamp.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's the first time we've done that, right?
yeah.
Okay, well,
And I
think
started
it's,
doing it with ZBA too at the last meeting, and
I
I
think
just
it's a
thought
good
that,
idea.
yeah.
I do.
And if you look at the end of the meeting, I also have the, it's the actual link for the meeting and the actual approximate time of the total for the meeting.
Perfect.
So
Which is
good,
good.
Tom.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
ChatGPT. It's a big help. It really is. I mean, I still have to watch it like for votes and stuff like that, because it won't say who said,
Yeah.
who made the motion, who seconded, but it really does save a lot of time, and it organizes it well, so.
It does. Well,
Um,
it does such a good job that I reviewed these and I have no changes. But if you wish to chime in and if you have any changes,
Don't.
I
I
don't.
propose that we accept the meeting minutes of Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025.
I second.
is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 I think we lost that.
Megan?
Me and Megan weren't there.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait.
What happened here?
We cut out.
Yeah, she's
Oh.
gone.
Yeah,
All right, wait, what? I abstain. I wasn't there.
yeah, I abstained too.
Well, you were, yeah, so, but that's all right. We can approve with 3, right, Tom?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
she-
so- All right, so, so the 3 of us approved, abstentions for Megan and for Mark. And Rachel's not here tonight. Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. I believe that is all we have, unless, Tom, you have something to
One
add?
quick thing, so I was able to give a 5-minute presentation that ended up being about 7.5.
Okay,
And then I proceeded to get grilled for 20 minutes by our finest select board members
okay.
about questions about stuff. And the one question Dan Carpenter asked was, is it possible for Camp Gleason, which just got renovated, to have swimming someday? Because that's Category 5 in the handout that I gave here. It's one of the most polluted ponds. The best chance would actually be Stoneville Reservoir, which is only a Category 2. So imagine that.
Yay.
That would be closer to getting, so what I need to do is find out somebody from the state, like a biologist, who would know about water quality standards and how we go about doing that, what the cost would be, if we could get a grant to look into it.
Is Rotary still a thing?
I don't know.
I think Rotary's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, it has been,
So too.
but still, I mean, it's,
How about kayaks at Gleason Pond?
yeah.
Well, no, Gleason's, he just said.
Yeah,
it's like
Gleason's a
some-
Category 5, but I
Not for
mean,
swimming, I'm saying
not for swimming,
kayaks.
but for boating, I mean, yeah, there's a big
Yeah,
difference
but
between
if you
boating and
fall in the
swimming.
water, you're gonna be poisoned to death and
Well, just
die.
Well, I don't think it's that bad, is it?
I
don't
agree
know.
with her.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I mean-
it's
I
gross.
agree,
It was
yeah.
gross way back when I was a kid.
They
It was
had
awful.
swimming in the Seine River
And I brought
last
up why
year.
it was gross, because all the mobile homes and all the houses that have the old dry wells that wash their clothes and wash their dishes, all the phosphates, and we know, until Tide gets rid of the phosphates and finds a better thing to clean everything,
Yeah,
we're stuck with it, unfortunately.
yeah.
It's,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I'm
that's
with
it.
you. I'll help you. What do you need help with? I'll
I
help
want to
you.
find out who can tell us how to get great water quality in whichever body of water
I
would be
think
the
the water
easiest.
quality, we tested it. I think the water quality is good. It's just the weeds.
Yeah.
So we have to fix the weeds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
used to. Conservation used to use money in the budget for weeds, and we stopped in 2009 or 2010 when we were told
What
to
can I
cut.
help you with?
And then we got overridden by town meeting because the people at Eddie Pond weren't happy. So then DPW pays it out of their budget now. So Concom hasn't
Yeah.
spent any money on
They
de-weeding in
did,
a while.
that we didn't own it anymore, so there was that. But
Yeah, that would be, I'd love to see, imagine swimming lessons in Auburn.
that'd be great.
Cheaper than a pool.
I will help,
Be
like,
freezing.
get everybody together to clean up Rotary Beach again, make it like a real beach for real humans.
I went out there one summer and like 2 times I went out and string trimmed along the road. And then like when I went back, it all overgrew, did it again. I did it 2 times and that was it.
See, they
Yeah.
need to budget maintenance for that,
Yeah.
you know, but in any
We'll
event,
see.
if there is no other new business, and also, we're agreed that we're gonna meet on December 10th.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, I planned that 6 months ago
Sure.
on December 17th, which is the third
Yeah.
Wednesday of the month, so that I could hold the book club.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
then it got all messed up, and my sister reminded me, which was a good thing, because it would have been a problem.
So anyway, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Megan?
Did we lose?